Good morning, evening, afternoon, I'm tatocat. Welcome to my channel. Today we're playing Echoes, the Lucid9 Fangame. Previously, we had a meeting with the warden, and she is indeed a bit more insane than Kosuke. And she's kind of going on her little rant right now to piss off / mentally devastate Rui. And that is where we left off. I initially didn't think it was possible, but in retrospect, he likely wouldn't have settled for you if Mommy and Daddy Dearest made sure to hug the remaining half of their children now and then. Wow. Kazuhaya's daughter returned the next day, and for several after that, you cited her lack of emotional involvement in the suicide attempt you could have prevented as justification for your spiteful behavior. And that was before the incompetent detective first showed her face to you. You stole your parents' access keys to the academy when the Special Services Division refused to do anything about the murders, slipped out at night and told nobody, let your closest friends think you were dead, and yet you still had the nerve to criticize him for unnecessary risk-taking. Multiple weeks after you found out what was really going on? Oh, Yama, you're just a kid with no training. You can't be investigating serial killings. Oh, Yama, why are you making me worry about you? You could at least tell me where you're going when you slip away without explanation. Oh, Yama, why do you sit back and watch and never do anything? Lies, hypocrisy comes out of your mouth as easy as breath. Miss Hayata, breathe. Miss Hayata, breath that you have no right to be drawing in the first place. Don't let your chairman delude you. You're not here for a greater purpose. You're here because a gray-haired widower with daughter issues wanted a replacement. But who knows, now that they've ripped you apart, crushed your spirit, replaced fifth of you with machines, you might actually be a succeed as one. Wait, is this true? Unless they had a means of forcing their way into my mind, there's no way anyone could know this much about me. And even in there, I don't remember being a destructive force. At least, not this destructive. There were mistakes, sure, but did I really fail him this much? I tried to keep him alive, and right now he's alive. At the very least, I couldn't have undermined everything. I couldn't have been this much of a burden. If that's wrong, well, there are stupider things to live for than a shot at atonement. Oh my. It would appear that I've struck a nerve. I'm quite impressed, actually. I didn't think your temper would keep while under exposure to an AN field of this magnitude. Your strength of mind is beyond exceptional. Isamu's safety is on the line. Restoring that safety is more important to me than trying to prove you wrong. Keeping my temper is only a fraction of what I can do. Tell me who needs to die, and you'll receive first-hand proof of that. I'm going to choose this one. I don't want to have to kill some rando. Also, I feel like the second one, it looks like we're trying too hard, man. Isamu's safety is on the line. Reassuring that safety is more important to me than trying to prove you wrong. You got quite the asinine sense of nobility, Miss Hayata. But if it keeps you from talking back to me like a stray cat with her lower third in advice, how good of a Samaritan you are is of no concern to me. Word to the wise, though. Word to the wise, though. Don't let the competition learn that there's a even cockle of your heart that hasn't frozen over yet. In theory, laws and contracts are devised to protect you. But in practice, both are equally useless at keeping a dagger out of your back. Are we clear on this? We are. Everyone in the city has to look out for themselves before they look out for others. That's the hard truth about Isamu. But being hard doesn't make it any less true. Hope for the future might not be something you deal in. And I can respect why it wouldn't be. Wait, does that mean I didn't do a good thing? Or is she like just neutral? Like, no matter what I said, she wouldn't care. Good things are scarce. Life is hard, and there's a massive industry in keeping it that way. For me, though, that's one more reason to care about the people of the city. And I don't intend to give up on them anytime soon. Keeping the citizens safe is the right thing for us to do. And it just so happens to be the best thing we can do. Time will tell if you're correct, Miss Hayata. I just hope you're prepared to accept the alternative before you lost too much blood. But that's enough ethics for now. So, what if I chose the other one? Keeping my temper is only a fraction of what I can do. Tell me who needs to die, and you'll receive first-hand proof of that. A decisive response, Miss Hayata. I'm beginning to see some merit in the way you think. That mind will serve you well in the future. Oh, in future firefights, provided you don't choke on your own boot. I was going to think she said blood. I'm aware. She seemed to like that answer a lot more, but it doesn't say if she likes it. I don't even know if I can get on the warden's good side. It's always better to stand with 2 boots on the ground than 1. Same thing goes for pummeling terrorists until they're shitting blood out both ends. That was graphic. I'll give amputees back in District 2 some credit, though. Crippled fuckers make one-legging it through town look easy. Seriously, though, if you got work for me, 100% of my focus will go into that work until the job's done. You say run, and I'll be there. You say jump, and I'll ask how high. And if you're willing to help us, I'm willing to kill any target you want dead. Provided the brass in 2 doesn't blow a fucking gasket over it first. Intriguing. I wasn't aware that Way Forward had full-blown mercenaries at its disposal. Nor was I aware that it keeps someone as ill-mannered as you on their payroll. Yeah. That didn't seem to get me anywhere with her. No, since it didn't get me anywhere, I'm just gonna scroll back. Choose the green one. Another thing, second one's just too desperate. You jump, I say how high. No. Oh, I skipped too much apparently. Because I guess it did the thing, the end of the line just merged. To prepare to accept alternative before you lose too much blood. But that's enough ethics for now. The warden's shadowy avatar bends its knees and leans forward, as if taking a seat on some invisible chair. So, tell me, Miss Hayata, how might I be of service to the girl who orphaned herself? Images of shattered windows and spent cartridges flash through my mind, setting my skin aflame with burning hollow panic. Then, touched by something from within, that sensation fades to chill. A mild tingle dancing over goosebumps, as if every nerve in my body were asleep. Then, in a moment, that sensation is nothing. Looks like she knows what really happened to the Hayatas. Not that there's any reason she wouldn't. Mom looked me in the eyes and smiled. Dad put his hand on my shoulder. And I... Oh, did I miss a thing? It's been a while since one of those flashy things happened. No. It's okay, Pumpkin, I heard him say. we wanted it to be you. The girl who orphaned herself. Charming. Is that what people are calling me now? Why? Do you find it objectionable? I scoff in annoyance, looked up at the shadowy figure with arms crossed. I only object to it if it wasn't true. Speaking of the truth, you're the one who sent an agent to bring me here, so why don't you tell me your business before you ask mine? That was a courtesy, Miss Hayata. I took the liberty of bringing you here so that you wouldn't even need to request an audience. You would do well to show some gratitude. Or did your mother not get a chance to teach you any before you tended to the flock? She taught me everything she knew. I just never took pride in my education. I take note of the warden's euphemistic phrasing and decide to dial back my standoffishness. I shouldn't have to regret what I did, nor should I have to be offended that it was brought up in conversation. At the time, everyone knew that it was the best way to settle things, including me. You did that duty competently. However, I will give you that. A Category 10 contract termination, was it? There's no way she could have gotten that wrong and intentionally. But I still decide to correct her. This whole meeting is probably just one giant test anyway. Category 11. Risk of emotional and psychological instability in personnel with direct involvement in sensitive research and development. You know how the Special Services Divisions operates. If I didn't get to my parents first, another operative would have beaten me to it. An SSD operative? As opposed to a non-SSD operative? Did I ever say it couldn't have been one? You certainly implied the opposite. And you believe you could interpret that implication of yourself. Something I'd advise you against doing from now on if you're interested in staying alive. Speaking of interest, I believe you come here to represent one of your corporations. Would you be so kind to remind me of which one that is? I think we both know why I'm here. True, but I'd like to hear you say it. A lump forms in my throat as I struggle to speak past my injured sense of pride. The only sane option is to come clean, even if it means recognizing that neither Way Forward nor me can cure this virus on their own. Yeah, I guess as a medical company, that would be like a big blow. Because that is literally what you're there for. Because even with all the concessions I've made before, none of them have ever been for me. Or so I'd like to believe. The way forward needs your help, Warden. I need your help. This virus, the novel influenza, not even our best vaccine tech can slow it down. Because of that, it started spreading through Isamu like wildfire. And once it gets into someone's circulation, releases its antigens into the entire body, meaning no targeted immune response is possible. We've concluded that the only viable solution is the mass distribution of the immune serum. A synthetic white blood cell culture that our lab cooked up to fight against last year's hemorrhagic rhinovirus outbreak. And before Way Forward stopped it only killed 500 million people. Well done. That was a consequence of low supply and high demand. Since the infected population eventually burned themselves out, we could afford to be strategic. Inoculating the rich and powerful first meant that affected countries could recover from the death toll without having to be completely re-civilized. Immune serum is one of the most necessary life-saving products we've ever developed. And millions ended up dying because we didn't have enough of it. The moment we did, we started selling it at a loss. We knew that profit would flow from a stable population in the long term. So we took on as much debt as we could in the short term. Don't mince words, Miss Hayata. You only took on as much debt as your shareholders would allow. Then our shareholders knew they couldn't make any money from dead people. Yeah, very true. Hypothetically, let's say Limniscape and DCIS both agreed to assist you with this mass distribution. What form would that assistance take? Funding, supplemental data processing, the freedom to use some of our facilities? Way Forward's chairman will know exactly what we need, as it stands. Though, we'll gladly accept anything that helps us manufacture and distribute more immune serum. If you can spare a supercomputer or two, our researchers will be able to tweak the formula faster than they would have otherwise. And if you allow us to use some of your factories, we'll make sure they receive the funding and equipment required to supplement production. Ideally, this will be a global initiative, but Isamu takes precedence until we know the city's secure. Either way, if this plan succeeds, Way Forward and Lemniscate alike will be able to serve the needs of a worldwide market that's both more stable and more productive overall. No, trying to be all logical with it. Talk about the monies and Agent Hirga also mentioned that the SSD forces could help DCIS accomplish some of its objectives. Yeah, I feel like applying to her wanting to have power, because honestly, I feel like the Warden is the real power of Isamu if she can just call in a strike force and target anyone. We're always willing to accept a gesture of good faith, Miss Hayata, especially when it helps save ammunition. So you'll help us? I wonder. Well, I am prepared to offer Way Forward some of the supplies and services as required to fight the infection. You would do well to remember that my assistance is not free. At the moment, DCIS has all the funding it needs, as well as an abundance of knowledge and firepower. Any resources your corporation could offer us would depreciate in value the moment it left your trembling hands. However, as you said, working with your corporation is the optimal strategy for reducing any potential market loss. Your people are best prepared to deal with the issues such as these, so we will leave the specifics to you for the sake of more timely resolution. Hirga will contact your chairman, shortly and obtain the final approval of this accord, hopefully without the use of force. In return, Miss Hayata, I'd like to give you my money's worth. You to give me my money's worth, if you will. That would make more sense. What do you mean? The Warden chuckles and snaps her fingers, causing a red grid around me to dissolve. Oh, I guess I gotta snap. In short, Miss Hayata, I'd like to see precisely how useful you really are. I hear the sound of a second snap, and the lights on the floor shift, now pointing me towards an assembly of screens on the far side of the comm room. Oh? What is that? This is Yuto Maeda, ILF terrorist, platoon leader, and former captain minor in the Isamu State Air Force, 5th Drop Trooper Company. This one is enlisted for services in the Isamu State military several months after its formation in the late 2038, and served in the liberation of Shanghai alongside the forces of the new Manchurian Commonwealth and their Linghua PMCs. Before becoming a soldier, he lived in District 6 with his wife and 4 children, the former of whom was dismissed from a position at Limnisgate due to psychological and physiological complications relating to her high number of pregnancies. After his wife was blacklisted from the corporate employment market, Meira joined the Isamu State Army in exchange for a modest wage alongside health and utility insurance for his family. I think I know where this is going. They screwed him over? Seems like a them thing to do. Well, we'll see where this is going in the next episode.